The game is called Race to a Flat, and we play this with base 10 blocks and the place value mat. And it's a game where you have two players. We'll need a pair of dice, and each player takes turns rolling the dice, and whatever number comes up on the dice, the player represents that number or adds that number to his place value mat. So you accumulate however many along the way, and the first person to make it to 100 wins the game. So this is a good game for practicing counting and adding. So we're going to go through a simulation of this game with just one player, so you can imagine another player is playing in between dice rolls. So first we roll the dice and we get a 2. So we're going to go over and grab 2 and pull those over, put them in the ones place, and now the other player rolls, but now we'll roll again just as though we have one player. So now we have 3 and 5 is 8, so we want to go over and grab 8 and add that to our ones. And notice that we can group those 10 together into one 10. So we'll merge those, we'll regroup those as one 10 and roll the dice again. We roll a 6, so we go over to our bank of ones, grab 6 ones and put them in the ones place. Next we have 7. So here notice that if we already have 6 and we're going to add 7, we can do that in a couple of different ways. The first way we're going to do this is fairly inefficient, what we would expect for kids to do. So that's add 7. So there's 7, and then now we're going to group 10 of those together to make a 10. And we'll take that 10 and move it over to the tens place. So now we have 2 10s and 3 1s. So we roll the dice again. At this point we have 11, which is 1 10 and 1 1. So the job is not too hard here. Rather than moving over 11 ones and then grouping the 10 ones together. So we roll the dice again. This time we get a 7, which now we're going to do this a little more efficiently. We need to add 7 to our ones. We already have 4 ones there. So know that adding a 7 is the same as adding a 10 and taking away 3 ones. So we're going to go ahead and grab 3 of those ones to group with the 7, and then just consider that as 1 10. Alright, so now roll the dice again. Now we have 9. Here we're going to be efficient and grab a 10 and take away a 1, because adding a 9 is the same as adding a 10 and taking away a 1. We need to add 3. Add 6. Here we're going to add 8, but adding 8 is the same as adding a 10 and taking away 2. And we would expect the child to become efficient at this game while playing it, rather than starting off with that level of efficiency. We rolled a 4, so now adding a 4 is like adding a 10 and taking away 6, and we do have enough in our ones place to do that. We rolled a 7. So we'll just have to add 7. We rolled a 10. That's an easy thing to add. So adding 7 is the same as adding a 10, taking away 3. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 10s. So right now I'm sitting at 95. So one more roll should do it. I've rolled a 6, which is enough. So adding a 6 is the same as adding a 10 and taking away 4. So now I have 10 10s. I'm going to group those together. and that becomes a flat, and I've made it to the end of the game, the objective.